story of a very angry man named Achilles. In fact, this whole film is about how angry Achilles gets, but he hasn't always been this depressed. Before that, he was a prince with super impressive fighting capabilities. And one day, someone did something that made him very angry. Let's set the stage. We're in Greece, and for some reason, all of the livestock have been dying. No one knows why, so some of the important Greek people got together to discuss things.
So, what do you think's wrong with all our cows?
It took intense interrogation, but someone finally fessed up.
Okay, fine. So maybe I did take the daughter of the priest of Apollo, which made Apollo really mad, so that he set a plague on all our livestock. But it's not my fault. She was really pretty, and I deserve to have whatever I want. No matter what it is, I should get it.
As you can see, Agamemnon is a petty brat with no self-control, and his excuse didn't impress the rest of the Greeks either. Achilles is one of the Greeks in the meeting, and he decided to set Agamemnon straight.
Agamemnon, you need to give the priest his daughter back so that Apollo will lift the disease from our livestock.
Who are you to tread and boss me around? I am the king. I have power. You can't tell me what to do. I will give the priest's daughter back to him, but I will take your wife for my own as payback. And there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing at all.
I will not stand by and watch you take my wife just because you feel like it. If you take away my wife, I will not help you fight the war against the Trojans.
Fine, whatever. Leave if you want. I don't need you.
And so the meeting ended. Agamemnon sent the priest's daughter back home, and then he went to Achilles' house to take away his wife.
I have come to take away your wife.
Woe is me! Woe is me! The gods have frowned upon me. I'm in the depths of despair.
So Achilles sat down and mourned on a rock. After a while, he had the brilliant idea of calling out to his mother, Thetis.
Mommy!
Yes, what is wrong, my child?
Agamemnon took my wife away and he didn't even ask me first. And I hate his guts and he makes me mad
Hush, child. Everything will be all right.
Mommy, can you do something for me?
Of course, my child. What is it?
Can you ask Zeus to beat up the Greeks for me?
Of course. Anything for you, my dear.
With that, Thetis ascended to Mount Olympus to talk to Zeus.
Wait, so you're saying that this whiny Achilles just happens to have a goddess for a mother? Kids these days.
Anyways, Thetis went up to Mount Olympus and found Zeus sitting on the steps and staring into space.
O Zeus, father of the gods, lord of the Aegis, I entreat you to punish the Greeks for the mistreatment of my son, brilliant Achilles. Even now, he sits on the beach, brooding over the loss of his wife, whom Agamemnon in his pride took from him. Allow the Greeks to suffer in the Trojan War, that Achilles' wrath may be avenged.
Well, now, that there is a fine proposition that I will take into much consideration, but, what exactly is the Trojan War?
Let me bring you up to speed. For the past 9 years, the city of Troy has been under siege by the Greeks. The siege began when a Trojan prince named Paris took away the wife of the king of Sparta. The Greeks are trying to get his wife back.
Thanks, dude. Back to your question, Thetis. Sure, why not? I'll help the Trojans out, give the Greeks a little punchy punch. No biggie. I've got nothing better to do.
Thank you, Zeus. Your kindness will never be forgotten.
The dream motivates Agamemnon, and he decides to obey it, but with a twist. He decides to tell his troops to get on their ships and go back home. This was a test to see how loyal his troops were.
Well, that's pretty good thinking, I'd say.
Oh yeah? Well, it was, until it backfired.
Huh?
Yep, the soldiers didn't really want to fight anymore. They had been at Troy for 9 years, and they wanted to go home. When Agamemnon told them to get on their ships, they all ran towards the sea.
Well, that's disappointing.
Well, luckily for you, there is one Greek who actually cared about the war, named Odysseus, and he motivates the troops to return to the war. Then Agamemnon said things to the soldiers that aroused their spirits.
Who are we?
Socks!
What do we do?
Stink!
Socks stink, socks stink,
Socks stink! Socks stink! Ah!
The Greeks charged towards the gates of Troy. The Trojans were already there, waiting for them. At the front of the Trojan line stood Paris, the reason for the whole war.
Ooh, I hate this guy.
You and everyone else in the book. Paris is a brat, and while he is exceedingly handsome, he has no brains. He saw Menelaus charging straight for him, and shrank back into his fellow soldiers. But he eventually was forced to duel with Menelaus.
I'm really not very good at this.
Suck it up, buddy.
I'll try.
Well, you fail, because Aphrodite just ends up whisking you away to safety. Rats! So the war has gotten nowhere, and up on Mount Olympus, Zeus decides to do something about it.
Honey,
Yes, dear.
why don't we call it quits on the whole war thing?
Why would we do that?
Well, why not? I'll make you a deal. I'll let you sack Troy if you let me sack one of your cities later on.
That sounds good to me.
Good. I love you. Whatever.
Hera then got Athena to help her out.
Athena!
Yes, Hera.
Let's go cause trouble for the Trojans. Come up with a plan to make the first offense of the war to be the Trojans' fault.
I'm gonna enjoy this.
Athena disguised herself and descended into the ranks of the Trojans. She told one of the archers, Pandaros, to shoot Menelaus.
Go ahead, Pandaros. Shoot Menelaus with that bow as big as Paris' ego.
Well, alright.
He shoots, and he scores! Ah! Help! I've been shot and I can't get up!
No, Menelaus, no! Don't die on me, buddy! Don't die on me! Hang on, fight! 'Tis merely a flesh wound! Shut up, Brendan, soldier! I will attend to the death of Menelaus!
I think he's gonna be fine.
Greeks, charge!
The Greeks swept over the Trojans like a broom, and there was unspeakable carnage on both sides. Spears were coming out of bodies in ways that they shouldn't, and the air was filled with the sounds a female tennis player would make. But Athena decided to take things up a notch.
Diomedes.
Yes, Athena?
Athena then set Diomedes' head on fire, and Diomedes ran rampant through the Trojans. The battlefield went up in flames, and Athena decided to take Ares conveniently out of the war.
Hey, Ares, let's go chill on the beach.
Sounds gnarly, dude.
Hence, the Trojans' most powerful ally was taken out of the war. He came back later on because Diomedes continued to slaughter everyone in sight. In the process, Diomedes actually wounded Agaius.
Ah, my flawless skin, stained with blood.
To make matters worse, Diomedes also started to fight with Apollo.
What's your problem, dude?
And, as if that wasn't enough, Diomedes stabbed Ares with a spear.
I am going to kill you!
And so, three powerful deities hated Diomedes, and Zeus didn't give a rip about any of it. The next book is all about the sentiments of a Trojan prince named Hector, because at this point he knows that the Trojans are going to die. It's a very touching moment. But after that, things take a turn for the worse for the Greeks, and Agamemnon realizes that he needs Achilles to help him. He offers him lots of gifts, but Achilles still says that he won't fight.
I will not accept Agamemnon's junk. I'm still mad at him.
Hey, Achilles.
Who are you?
I'm your best friend Patroclus. Who's been staying with you while you souls on your island?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I really want to go down and help out the Greeks.
Okay, go ahead. I won't come with you, but I'll let you wear my armor into battle. That'll give the Trojans a good scare.
Good idea.
And that's what they did. But as soon as Patroclus went into the battle, he got killed by Hector. Achilles didn't handle it so well. Achilles decided to avenge his friend's death and finally enter the war. He started fighting and went into beast mode, kind of like Diomedes. Hector knew that Achilles was going to find him and kill him, but he didn't run away. Instead, he decided to intimidate Achilles by staring him down.
Why don't you come back inside the walls?
No!
Achilles charged at Hector, and when he reached him, they began to circle each other menacingly and to taunt each other with evil words.
Try and get me, you little...
Achilles stabbed him in the throat, and the rest of the Greek army proceeded to swarm Hector's body and stab it with their spears.
So, Randy, what are you having for lunch today?
I'm having a tuna sandwich.
That's nice. I don't really like tuna myself.
Oh.
After desecrating the body of Hector, Achilles mourned the death of Patroclus. He rolled around on the beach and moaned and groaned and desecrated Hector's body a little more for good measure. Then he and the rest of the Greeks built a funeral pyre for Patroclus, and Achilles gave the Trojans Hector's body back. Then the Trojans burned and buried Hector's body, and then they waited for the Greeks to attack them. But this is where our story ends, because the whole story was about how angry Achilles got, and now he isn't angry anymore.
For real? That's it? We don't get to see the Greeks sack Troy or anything?
Unfortunately, no. But this has been really fun, guys. Thanks for having me.
No
No problem, Homer.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And that's the end.